Hey, all. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining this afternoon. And today we have half day of today we have half day of Azure. This is our meetup group page, our .NET Learners House. That's our meetup group name. And today's event is half day of .NET 5 and AI. So we are having three speakers. And first speaker is Alagunila, second is Menaka, and third one is Suhas. So we are having uh, three three tech talks today, and 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 that's the three tech talks today, and the other events which are coming in. So every month we are planning two events, one on first Saturday, and one on third Saturday. So this is first Saturday's event. We are having half day of .NET 5 and AI, and there's a third week event which is Web API, Blazor, Wasm, Azure, and Angular. So we have three sessions over there, and this is half day of Azure, where we are having four tech talks on that one. So similarly, the pattern continues. So there'll be a lot of events. So let's. So that's thing. And our first speaker is Alagunila Meghanathan. So she will join us in a moment. Let's give us 2 minutes. Hello.
Hi, Swami.
Hey, Menaka. எப்படி
Hi.
இருக்கீங்க?
Yes, I'm doing great. How about you?
Cool. Good, good, good. Um, so what we will do is நீங்க screen share பண்ணுவீங்களா? So we'll test that and
One.
we'll go. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes.
Yep. Thanks. I will stop the scrolling.
தெரியுதா உங்களுக்கு screen?
Screen தெரியுது. I'll just save பண்ணிட்டு scroll போடுறேன் நானு. I'll just add your screen and I'll pull you out.
Okay.
Pull myself out or stream or I'll just introduce you uh,
Okay.
then we'll
Okay, definitely.
okay, cool. One second. Okay, sorry for the delay. Okay, cool. Hey guys, we have our first speaker, Menaka, and I'm back to you, Menaka. I'll just pull out myself out. Please go ahead. Hello, you're on mute.
Yes,
Thanks.
let me.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes, definitely.
yeah.
Okay, fine. What today about discussion is Azure storage files data lake client library for .NET Core. So everywhere, even for ML, AI, and all other possibilities, .NET Core and Azure together makes a lot of opportunities for today's developers. So now the storage files data like client library are particularly to the machine learning or for big data or for any other analytics that is related to advanced mechanism. But as a .NET developer, it's quite good and it's really useful to work for a day-to-day application and in-demand application where we can able to process some of the needed resource to be delivered to the client end. So that is the reason I today took this data lake client library to investigate how it can be helpful, how we can able to adapt this particular services, not for analyzing big data or another data related stuff, how we can able to implement for a simple file reading operation, or how to get the data extracted from the particular application by means of the service, and it's both pros and cons. That is what we are going to discuss today. And this is about me. I'm Menaka Bhaskar Pillai. I'm working as a software engineer as of now, and I used to speak for events as a community. And these are the ways you can reach out me for any doubts and clarification. Let's get into the topic. So, what are the things we are going to discuss in today's session is about a overview of data lake storage and the capabilities that been giving to the current scenario. For example, the data lake storage is particularly for data management or other thing. Other than that, what all are the capabilities that is readily available in marketplace, and how we can secure the data in Azure data lake, and forever wherever we are using data, there is a security, compliance, and other thing that need to be monitored. So how we can able to monitor those capabilities in Azure data lake storage, and also authentication and access control in Azure data lake storage. So before getting into the topic, I just want to give some brush up knowledge about Azure services that is really capable in today's market scenario. Whenever we are choosing one Azure services for particular enterprise based application, we first need to investigate the cost consumption plan and its scalability, reliability, and other sourcing plans. Because, for example, whenever we are doing a migrating application, and there is a recommendation that I can choose a Cosmos DB or any other Azure storage that is available, there comes a question like, what is my main theme I need to do with my application? Because my application is already written in SQL query and I am not aware of the thing which I'm going to migrate in future. So I need a recommendation from my developer end as well as from my Azure end and from my client end. So we need to fix the requirement clearly. Then we need to choose as per the throughput, latency, and its competency. Without this clarification, if we go with any of the Azure service, that may result in our lack of money or some other things which are out of constraint. So it's very important to make sure the cost conception plan before getting into any of the Azure service forever, for every services. But whenever we are going with any of the compute solution, we need to definitely get into the Azure payment processing, how it get calculated, either a hourly charge or CPU load and other basic utility we need to consider before choosing the service. Same way, in Azure data lake storage also, we need to consider few of the following steps before getting to use this particular service, which I will list it in end of the session. So Azure data lake storage. There is a word named data, which has been everywhere. We will see like in security and data efficiency, security, and compliance to maintain the data breach. Everywhere we are having the data. What is this data? Like wherever we are going, data breach is like a very highly secured project. Like we need to maintain the capability to store and maintain the data. So these all are the things which been evolved around data. So it is an enterprise-wide hyperscale repository for big data analytics workload. So wherever you have a small amount of data, it's very easy to use your data for any of your algorithm. For example, if you want to train any model and you want to make some data to be stored before to get the responsiveness of the particular model. So at the time, there is very limited amount of data is efficient to get train your model. But when it goes for a live, there is definitely you cannot go with the 10 or 20 samples of data, and you can construct the entire API based on the data. So you need to consume a lot amount of data, and you need to train the model accordingly. So it's necessarily we need to have multiple origins of data, and we need to store the data at the same place. So it enables you to capture the data of any size and type. So this is one of the major advantage of data lake storage, because even if you have blob storage which will store the unstructured data, but it is quite less important to use a blob storage where we can able to store the files and unstructured data. At the same time, if we go with the Cosmos DB, even we have SQL API and all other API which supports to assist the migration work and to restore the data. But the capturing the data of any size and type with no schema is very important, and that is one of the reason data lake storage is in action today. It is designed to enable analytics on the stored data, and it is tuned for performance for data analytics scenario. So it include all enterprise grade capabilities, which is like security, manageability, scalability, reliability, as well as availability. So there is one point like availability in whenever there is less throughput, there will be a high latency. In vice versa, wherever there is a high latency, there will be low throughput. So this will be in constraint, because I cannot able to find out the read and write operation. I need to set up again the consistency model to gather my operation. So all other things will be there for availability. But in data lake storage, it's quite easy to adapt the technology. We are not getting into complication as like other storage. So it is easy to maintain also. And as in security end, we already know wherever we are using a storage, the Microsoft ensure there is a maximum security is provided with many compliance certificate. And here also the security end, it's in on top notch. And scalability and reliability, it's scalable as well as it's reliable to its endpoint customer also. So those are the key features of Azure data lake storage. So once after that, how it actually works, that what is the overview of the particular thing. This is a overview of Azure data lake storage. You can see there is 4 points to get into: ingest, prepare, store, and analyze. So in native format, you are getting the data, and you are preparing by annotating or schematizing the particular data, and cleansing and enriching your data, and make your data readily available to store on the particular environment. So once you, because it is like saving the data from the different endpoints, we, as I said, like any type, any form here mentioned, so you are getting the data in any of the format. So making the format to work per your requirement, you need to cleanse and you need to enrich as well as annotate and schematize your data and make it readily fit to your current requirement. And after that, once your data is get ready with the proper schema as well as with the proper workloads, it is getting into store from the prepared step to store endpoint by retained for the present and future analysis. Wherever you are storing data, there is 2 point. Whenever we are working in other storage device, we used to monitor that thing, like the usability of data. For example, in some cases the data stored will not be in use, but it will be for the backup or for the customer end detail we used to store the data. So in some cases the data will get repeatedly, because it will be accessible for every day, from day to day, as well as for monthly as well as for yearly basis. So based on that, in other storage we used to have a hot and cold tier based on the dependency and other constraint. But here you have a huge amount of data and you are storing that for a long time for the future analysis. Because if I am training any model in today's scenario, I cannot go and take the data which is present on today as well as yesterday or this month or this year. I need a data which been existent from long back 10 years to get my model to be trained as per the requirement. In this case, I need a large amount of data to be stored, not only for today analysis but for the future analysis, which can be happen after 10 years also, even 20 years also in decades view. So that is why the storage will be there to retain for the present and future analysis. And after that, analyzing the data, this is where the real usage of data lake storage action comes into. Because I'm storing the data for long period by consuming a lot of place as well as a lot of money and all other things. The real endpoint is I can able to analyze, I can able to use with some other things. Because in Hadoop, Spark, as well as other data technologies, because we have a big data as well as data mutations, there are a lot of things being adapted with together with the data. So all of the things I can able to store the data which been stored for the decades, that can be helpful for the future analysis. For example, if I am creating a weather report, normally a weather report, I can able to create by my normal MVC application. I have a readily available APIs which I can able to fetch, and I can able to reproduce the entire application which will monitor the weather, and I can able to make it mobile friendly also. But think about the rare case scenario. You want to get the COVID infected patient, the list of COVID infected patient for last 10 decades, so that from that you can able to plan further analysis study. In that cases, I cannot recreate an app based on today or yesterday scenario. I need to track it from the day one of the COVID until date which the last patient suffers from the COVID have the report. So in this constraint, I'm consuming all the values and I am returning in a particular place. I'm storing and manipulating. At end result, I can able to recreate as an API in future, where it can able to assist medical or any other future alignments which been in contract with the COVID various. So this is how the data being consumed. This is the endpoint how the data can be utilized in future, not only in machine learning or big data or Hadoop or Splunk. The all other things which we are going to do in future based on the past, this data will help us. So this is how the data being consumed. So at first endpoint, if you see, the data can be collected in variety of way. For example, if you have some data that is from the news feed, or if you are from the data that is from the web application, or it is a relational data or non-relational data or clickstream, any kind of data, the storage then will contain the same format which been stored in the batch queries or integrated queries or real-time analytics as well as the machine learning and data warehouse. So this is sum up together from the Azure data lake storage. So, what are the key capabilities? Because whenever we are using any of the storage or any of the things which we are putting a lot of money, we need to get into what is exactly it works and what are the real case scenario it helps us. As I said, the data tracking and storing and consuming the data. So additionally, how it help with other technologies, how it is compatible with other technology, we need to investigate. So here are the list of the key capabilities that assist us. It is built for Hadoop. You can easily analyze the data stored in data lake storage, Gen 1 using Hadoop analytic frameworks such as MapReduce or Hive. On the end of the Hadoop resource, like who have been working the machine learning, Hadoop, Splunk or other technology can easily able to adapt this Azure data lake storage. As a .NET developer, we can use this data lake storage very rarely, but it is very efficient to use in some case scenario, which I will discuss in my demo session. But this have the built-in support for Hadoop, which make this adaptability quite easy for the end of the big data or data analytics or for Hadoop engineer to adapt it. So unlimited storage, petabyte files. It doesn't import any limits on account size, file size. Data is stored durably by making multiple copies. So data storing multiple copies. Here we need to understand one point, like the storage of data at one point and recreating the multiple copies, it's a cost consumption. Usually there is like a type of storage where we need to choose the availability sets where the data can be replicated. For example, it is like a geo redundant storage or zone geo redundant storage, different type. Usually for a simple storage, there will be a lot of things. Think about your size of data and it need to replicate it in the multiple copies in multiple regions. Then how about the cost of this particular service? So performance tuned for big data analytics supports massive throughput to query and analyze large amount of data. So you can able to query and you can able to do all the activity that you can do as a normal SQL developer by writing the query string. But here there will be something different that need to be done from the end of Azure data lake storage. We'll have the query that related to the built-in support of Hadoop. So enterprise ready, so highly available and secure, industry standard availability and reliability, enterprise grade security for the stored data. So at 8 all our data, so store any data in its native format without requiring any prior transformation. As I said before, that's what I explained, that four major steps that need to be followed while we are getting into Azure data lake storage. Preparation of data will be a great still it is a great barrier for today's developers as well as the data analytics person, because data can be collected in many of the format. For example, for a simple application, I have my data in Excel, or my client may say like you need to get a data in a Word format. In some other key scenario, I will get my data in different format, and aligning and making my particular data storage to work with the format which been I'm having is a greater challenge for me in today's scenario. But whenever I have this been adapted frequently by some of the service, then only getting the data and storing is my job. So I'm not going to bother, or I'm not going to worry about how to make the data to fit for the particular storage. So this is what I have said before. Even though this is only for data analytics or machine learning and or for big data analysis platform, but this future make it to available to support for all other framework. For example, as a .NET developer, you can able to adapt this. Even if you have a quite quicker plan of activity to be done with a huge amount of data, you can do, because within a short duration you don't need to bother about the type of data, you don't need to bother about how it's going to get processed, and it is very easy to write a queries, everything. If it is consideration, then you can able to adapt this technology, and that's what I told you. This is useful in as a .NET developer. In further upcoming steps, this is where it is useful. Preparation of data is very less time consuming than other storage. So securing data in Azure data lake. So if you are having a Azure data lake, you need to do the steps to ensure that you have been using a secured environment to store the data. As I said before, the data you are using here are a massive data, and there is a lot of opportunity to get it corrupted. So to ensure your security, as a default, it have a following authentication to be performed to make your data secure. So those steps are like Azure AD authentication, access control authorization, and encryption. So whenever you are getting into Azure data lake, you need to ensure that you have enabled this AD and access control and encryption to get your data to be stored in your Azure Data Lake storage. So other than that, if whatever the services you are using in Azure, you have a default data security by means of a compliance certificate and expert level certificate. So basically, or all other services, that is quite enough. But whenever you are going with this amount of Azure Data Lake storage or anything related to huge data storage, you need to ensure the additional security like authentication, as I said, access control and encryption. So authentication with Azure Data Lake Storage. If you have any services like either it's a Blob or Cosmos or any other services where you are storing the data, as I said like before, there is a default compliance and other security related stuff has been implemented. But these services, you need to ensure the authentication from the end user as well as from the service to service authentication. So what is end user authentication and service to service authentication? And end user authentication is nothing but your user credential are used to authenticate with the data lake storage. So you have a authentication process where you need to authenticate the user is the one who is have access to use the particular data. For example, it is what we used to do with our normal authentication process. In other terms, this will ensure the basic level of security to access the data. So as the result, this authentication mechanism is interactive and the application runs in the logged in user context. So usually as a base level of authentication, we will ensure that the person is the right one to use my particular data and my storage. So this is one of the authentication. Service to service authentication is if you use an app or API, need to access the data lake without user intervention. So in some cases, I have my API that need to call this data which being stored in my data lake. In my cases, I don't want the user interaction. Whenever I get my user to get log in my application, that need redirector or they need to call some API that need to fetch the data from the data lake storage. So in that case scenario, I can able to use service to service authentication. So create an Azure AD as well as and use the key from the Azure AD to authenticate with the data lake storage gem. So this is like service to service authentication. So access control in Azure Data Lake Storage, you manage the access control at folder level, even file level too. Whenever the word like file folder, you can remember the things you have in your blob storage. This is quite similar because I can restrict the usage of file, folder, container, or any other storage based on the requirement in Azure Data Lake Storage. There are three permissions like read, write, execute, which is quite common. We've been familiar with the read and write operation with other services. Execute also one more here to be added. Permission for an item or stored on the item itself. In other words, permission for an item cannot be inherited from the parent item. For example, if you give one access to the particular file and particular folder, and you are creating the same folder, the child folder from the parent folder, you need to set the access permission again for the child folder which been created from the parent folder. If you have missed out to give that, it will not readily inherit the property of the parent folder which you been created before your child. So that is one of the primary thing which we need to consider, because some cases we thought like by inheriting the property of particular thing we'll get the property, all the properties associated with that, but here it is not possible. We need to set up the permission and access level and all other things for individual file level or folder level based on the access requirements. So encryption of data in Azure Data Lake Storage. Data Lake supports encryption of data both at rest and in transit. So data, you may have a doubt like I've been using my data very rarely, so my data need to be stored. As I just need to do check whether at rest also it been encrypted or while doing the transition only it is encrypted. So to make this work out, to make this data security as one of the powerful thing in this world, the encryption of data in Azure Data Lake Storage is available for both your data at rest as well as in transit state also. So that make it to work somewhat secured environment in Azure Data Lake Storage. So steps to add data lake with the .NET Core. So this is what I have tried to say before, like though this storage is completely belong to my machine learning or artificial intelligence or for any other stuff related to recreation of data, but as a .NET developer with Azure, how we can implement the things. The first and primary advantage of using a data lake is, you if you have the data which is more in size with no proper source, that is the point where you can able to use this data lake. In second case, where you can able to use as a .NET developer is, like, you have to make the data to be stored for a long term in your application, that being run with a huge amount of data with no sources and other recommendation. So the formatting and other things have consumed lot time, you feel, and you need to produce the application in a very short manner from the existing data that been already accumulated somewhere. You can probably use this data lake. At the same time, check the cost plan consumption for the particular services, because even if you store the limited amount of data, the cost will be based on the storage what you have been and the throughput and other things, the dependency things, latency and availability. Based on that, it will be calculated. But quite compared to other storage solution, this is somewhat costly because of its usability and long term serviceability. So make sure that if it satisfies and try to implement in your project. So if you have a data lake, then how I can able to incorporate in my .NET application? So it's very simple to incorporate by install the package of your, create a simple .NET Core application, either it's a console application or a web application. If it is a web application, you need to do some alteration in your controller view to perform the action. But if you have a console for your better understanding, you go with the console application, install the package of Microsoft Azure Data Lake Store, and create your client object by using this ADLS client, and creating an account name as well as the credential. With next step will show you, and all other things what we are going to perform is like, I summarized everything, all points, because creating and showing everything like AD authentication and all other thing is quite time consuming, which take long time to load the individual services. So I summed up everything what we need to do, like the steps demonstrate how to interact with Azure Data Lake storage and using a .NET SDK. So this is like a walkthrough of the steps. As I said before, you definitely need an Azure AD services to authenticate, because as I said before, this is not a services which we can go with the inbuilt security or a compliance certificate. We need to ensure that the following things: access control and AD authentication, as well as others, encryption also. You need to acquire an Azure AD, and after that you can create Azure Data Lake client object using the account path and O authentication token instant. So now you can understand the account name which means belong to this one, and you can create a data lake storage client object by using this. Use the methods on the client object to interact with the store. So by this client object, you can able to interact with your store. So you can able to get a write stream, as well as you can write a file on store, as well as you can get a read stream, and you can also read the file from store. You can able to rename the file, as well as you can able to execute the file and enumerate the directories and delete the directories recursively. So these are all the steps you can able to perform by storing your file, as well as enabling the file to be accessed for other people, as well as you can able to check either you can able to execute and delete, as well as other operation you can perform with the proper authentication scenario. So this is how you can able to implement Azure Data Lake services with your .NET SDK. To make it better understanding, let me show the code once again, so that could be helpful. So this is a simple application where it have, you need to fill your application ID. This is also your client ID, where you need to incorporate this particular services, and there will be a key and tenant ID and account FQDN. This FQDN is like a name, usually you have an services and you create an account, there will you need to get a name which been generated from that, and that is where we use this. Once after that, I have mentioned in the slide where we need to create an account client. So this is where client, this we need to create. This is usual step what we will perform in AD token. So you will get a AD credentials and token related stuff here, application ID as well as client secret you need to pass. Once it is done, you can able to read the file as well as you can able to get the stream, write the file as well as you can able to execute the file, and you can able to perform all other operation that you can want to perform in your store. So these are the file you can able to perform. So this is quite good catch up for getting a better understanding of the particular data lake. So if you need the code, I will paste the git repository also so that it could be helpful. So I hope I have completed my session. So if there is any doubt, you can ask me.
Hey Menaka, there are a couple of queries
Okay.
which is posted. Okay,
Okay.
so the first query was posted by Anirban. There are
Okay.
many Azure storages like Azure Blob Storage, Cosmos DB, etc.
Mm. Yes.
But I don't understand what to use where. It's a generic query.
Yes. I will give a real time scenario where we can use this both service. For example, you have an attendance application. You need to store your photos, and you need to store and you need to recreate the photos in your mobile as a friendly version. That is like downloading the photos as a mobile friendly version. So in this path, you need very lesser time to consume when without writing lot of code. You can easily able to store the unstructured data in Azure Blob Storage. So that is one of the main use of the Azure Blob. So images, files or videos you can able to store. Cosmos DB, this storage solution is very helpful whenever you are doing migration activity. For example, you are already having a SQL query database and you need to migrate that to the cloud. You can able to choose your Cosmos DB and you can choose the SQL API. In same case, wherever you don't know the schema, you can able to use the Cosmos DB as this one. So based on the requirement, if either it's unstructured data, go for blob storage. If you are doing a migration activity of the particular storage to Azure, go for Azure Cosmos DB.
Okay, so this is another question from Prem. What are
Okay.
the recommended ETL tools to build data pipelines for data lake? Does
Okay.
SSIS support Azure Data Lake for relational data?
So
Shall I
as I
paste
said
this in a
before,
chat?
yes, yes, it could be helpful.
I'll paste it. See this.
I
This
can
is
able to
what.
see the commands from
Oh,
it.
you are able to see, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, right. That
Yes, yes,
question.
yes,
Prem
yes,
has
I can
two.
able to
Yep.
see.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Yes, I can able to see. Does SSS I support Azure Data Lake for relational data? As I said before, like this data lake is for a storage where you can able to store, and report wise generation or other related stuff's been in a new development process. Maybe it may support in future. As of now, the report generation or other stuff related to that needs further investigation. So I think so. It is not possible from my knowledge. Maybe in future it will be released to support the report origination also.
Menaka, I think there's a follow-up question from Prem itself.
Yes,
It's at the
yes,
bottom.
yes, I can
Can we
see.
replace Azure SQL
Yes,
MI with Data Lake?
Azure SQL in my method.
Yeah.
Yes, you can replace. Yes, you can replace everything with Azure SQL MI or Azure Data Lake.
Hello, Menaka. Hello.
This Azure data lake, but make sure that the data is secure and security is paramount.
Menaka looks like your voice. We're losing your voice. Hello. 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 Are you able to hear me? Menaka? Looks like there is some connection issue. Okay, that should be fine. That should be fine. So it was really a wonderful session, Menaka. So thank you so much for a wonderful session. Hey guys, we have our next speaker, Alagunila. We have our next speaker, Alagunila Meghanathan, and she is 4 times Microsoft MVP and 4 times C Sharp Corner MVP. She is a chapter lead of Coimbatore, and she is a founder and CEO of Innovatries Technologies, and she has lots and lots of experience in wide variety of technologies. And back to you, Alagunila. Could you please share your screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Swami?
I'm able to see your
Can you hear me?
screen. Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Yeah, sure.
But I wanted your screen so that we can.
Can you able to see my screen
Cool.
now?
That's your perfect. So
Yes.
yes, ma'am. I'm able to see your screen, ma'am. So I'll go out, and you
Yes.
can continue your session. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yes, welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone. And good afternoon. Thank you very much for providing this wonderful opportunity. So, I am here to talk to you about how to create an low code serverless applications. So, myself, Alaganila Meghanathan, I'm a founder and CEO of Innovatry Technologies. I am a Microsoft MVP and I am a my MCT2 and then if you have any queries or if you want to connect me through the social media, this is my handler, that is Alagnila M. Yes. Let's we get into the session. So before directly jump into the topic, let's have a look at the session agenda first. So first and foremost, I started with the today's session with the introduction to the serverless computing. So next, I just move to show you the logic app, and then I have an pretty demo here. So to do that demo, I need the Azure storage, so I need to explain the Azure storage too, and then I will just move to show you how we could create an Azure cognitive service, and about the AI and Azure cognitive services, and then I just focus on how that there are a number of Azure cognitive services are there, number of APIs are there, so I just focus on Face API, and then after that finally we will see some interesting demo, and I show how we use Face API with the help of an logic app. Okay, so I hope that this agenda clear to you guys. So let's move further and get started with the first topic of my session. So that is low code serverless. Yes, the serverless this is an evaluation of application platform. So before the cloud, we kept all our data in the on premises. After that, we just moved to the IaaS PaaS, and now we are in the serverless. So hope you guys know about the IaaS. It's an infrastructure as a service. Then it a PaaS means it is a platform as a service. Okay, so before cloud, we kept all our data in the on premises. So while that time we have a lot of questions: who monitor my servers, and what size of servers should I buy, and how many servers do I need? So these are the some of the lot of questions before the cloud. So after the cloud, we can find all the questions, all the answers for that questions. And then is it now it's in the past time. So platform has a service. So say for an example, in the platform as a service, we are responsible for our data and then our applications. We just focus on our data and what kind of languages we need to create our applications. We just focus on that only. So we need not worry about the servers and then what kind of things we required to host to deploy our applications. So while we need to uploading our deploying our apps applications, we need to give the fixed size of app service plan. They have an app service plans are there. So it will manage all the things. And then in the serverless, what is the right size of servers for my business need, and how I scale my app? There are a number of questions while we move to the serverless. Okay, so now I will explain about the serverless clearly. Okay, so serverless means no server. Not really. So it doesn't mean there is no server involved. So it just means that aren't managing servers. There is a server is there, but we are not managing the servers. Okay, so I will explain with an example. So if you have an application, so you have an applications that is run on the platform as a service. Okay, so suppose suddenly if your applications have an more demand, so if your application demand is increased, we need to manually we go to that application service plan, and we need to increase our service and all the things. Okay, so based upon your application requirements, we need to extend the things. So if it is in the serverless, so it the serverless itself, it's automatically increase your platform size depend upon your demand. After that, it will decrease it. Okay, so it eliminating all the stuffs. So serverless computing is a cloud computing execution model in which the cloud provider allocates machine resource on demand, taking care of the servers on behalf of their customers. So actually it decreases the time to market, and it approaches allows developer to create new apps in an hour and days instead of weeks and month. Okay, so it's really it's very low cost when compared to the past. Okay, so it is an abstraction of servers, and then we can have an event driven, and then we can have the subsequent billing. So in the serverless, we can have a number of technologies. Other function is there, a logic app is there. So each and everything we can billing is everything is depend upon the number of transactions, number of runnings, and all the things. Okay, hope now you can able to understand that what is an serverless. Okay, so let's see the serverless apps lifecycle. So we can have an design, develop, deploy, monitor. So it is a very easy lifecycle. So what you need, you just set and design, and then develop, and then deploy, and then we just monitor what are the things that's going on. Okay, so this is very simple of using then serverless. So there are a lot of Microsoft serverless services are available. So function is there, logic app is there, so storage is there. So here in this session we are going to see about the logic app. Okay, so next we get into the logic app. Okay, so logic app is a cloud-based service. It allows you to react to an event in one and do something with the data from that event into the another service. Okay, so it works. It helps to work smarter by automating the workflows across your favorite apps and services. So it creates some workflow. That's it. Okay, so there are a number of services out there. Okay, so it just create a workflow. Okay, so whenever you receive an like email with an attachment, you need to store that particular attachment to your OneDrive or Google Drive. Means it connecting that services and do the such works for you. Okay, so this is like that. So it is a connection of it connecting the services. Okay, so and create an workflow. Okay, so we can use for getting an notifications, and we can synchronize the files, and we can able to collect the data, and we can also create an automated approval using the logic app. Okay, we can create automatic workflow without writing a single line of code. That is a very interesting one while we are using the logic app. If you need, you can, there is an option there. Okay, so most probably we can drag and drop your services. Okay, so no code designer for rapid creations, and dozen of pre-built templates are there. So if you need, you can grab the templates, or you need to build your own, you can start using with the blank templates. Okay, so there we can also have some custom API apps for your own, and no technical people can use the logic app to automate. So it's very easy, so everyone can easily use a logic app. So we can create, deploy, manage, and monitor. Okay, so if you want to work with the Azure logic app, the three things is very important. The first one is connector, second one is trigger, and third one is the condition. Okay, the process of building the workflow based on the certain connectors, triggers, and actions. So connectors means that is like it is like the services. Okay, so say for an example, whenever you receive an email, that time you are taking the with an attachment, that time you can we need to take that particular attachment and save it to the Google Drive or OneDrive. Here your Gmail or Outlook is a connector, and also your Gmail, your OneDrive is a connector. Here these are the connectors. Okay, so trigger are the event that start a flow. Okay, so that is a trigger. Okay, when it happened, when it trigger. Okay, so whenever you receive an email with an attachment, that time the flow, the logic app will run. Okay, so that is a trigger. Okay, next one is the conditions, actions. Okay, so actions are a task accomplished by the logic app. Either we can redirect the condition, right? So what's our conditions and what the action we need to do. So we just take the attachment and save it to your OneDrive or Google Drive. Okay, so that is your action. So to work with the Azure logic app, we need to know these three things, that is connectors, triggers, and conditions and actions. Okay, yes. So next we move to the these are some of the pre-built connectors. There are number of connectors are available in the logic app. So for SaaS applications and services, for Azure and Power Apps, protocols, hybrid, so there is a number of connectors are there. We can easily connecting those services. Okay, so this is our flows looks like this. Okay, so we can connecting these flows. So whenever you need the services, you just connecting you just creating the connections of the particular services and create the flow, and you can have the conditions are there. So we can use the looping conditions. You can having the if conditions are there. Okay, so you can so our flow after creating the logic app, our flows will look like this. Okay, yes. This is our demo. Okay, so what we need, what we are going to do in this session means, whenever we add some images in the blob storage, okay, so that time it extract the information from that particular image using the face API and store it into the Excel file. This is our logic app. Okay, so this is a demo for our logic app. So whenever I upload any images in the blob storage, so Azure here I am using the Azure blob storage. So that time it opens that images and extract the particular informations, what we have given in the face API. So I just extract the informations from the particular images and then store that values into the Excel file. Okay, so this is a demo we need to do in the session. Okay, so what are the prerequisites? So you need an Azure account, and then we need to then OneDrive account, that is then for creating the Excel sheet. Okay, let's see what are the steps we need to follow to get the demo. Okay, so to perform the demo, okay, so first step is that creating the storage account. Okay, so next step we need to create the cognitive services, particularly the face API. Here I am using the face API. So after that I just need to create an Excel file in OneDrive. Okay, so after finally I create the logic to connecting all these services. Okay, so here the connectors are blob storage, face API, and then Excel file. These are the connectors. Okay, so when it triggers, whenever someone adds images into the blob storage, that time it triggers what is the action. So we need to extract the information from the particular image and store it to the values. Okay, so these are the connectors, triggers, and actions we need to perform here. Okay, so let's get into the first step. So we need to create the storage account. Yes. So before we get into create the storage account, we need to know what is an Azure storage. Yes. So Azure storage, as we know that it is a storage, it is a fundamental building block for all the Azure services. It's one of the cloud computing PaaS services. So Azure storage is a container. It is a group of Azure storage services together. We can have an blob, files, queues, tables, etc. So here we are using the blob storage for storing our images. Okay, so I'm not getting more about the Azure storage. Okay, so we move to the portal for creating the storage account. Okay, so to do that I just click on the create. This is our Azure portal, so I just click on the create a resource. I just search. I just search Azure storage account. Yes, I just click on create. Yes, here first we need to choose your subscriptions, and you need to choose your resource group. The resource group, you know that it's like a folder which holds all your related resources over here. Okay, so and then I need to give the storage account name. Okay, so our storage account name is .NET. Okay, so .NET Learner. Storage demo. Okay, so this is our location where we have stored our storage. Okay, so next we have an performance. The performance determines the data service you can have in your storage account and type of hardware disk used to store the data. Okay, so here I am just choosing the standard one. So standard one, standard allow you to have any data services like blob, files, queues, tables, and use a traditional hard disk. So go with the premium means the premium limits you to one specific type of blob called page blob and storing unmanaged virtual machine disk and all the things. So I just click on the storage, and then account kind. So here you can have an storage v2, general purpose v2, v1. This is a version. So if you need to work on the blob storage, you just click on the blob storage. If you go with the storage v2, we can have all the things, that is, and we can use the blob queues and all the one. And then replications, so I just go with the read access by default. I just left it the default, and then I just click on the review and create. Okay, so validation is passed, so I just click on create. Okay, that's it. So we done all the first step. Okay, So it takes some time. In the meantime, I just move to the presentations, and then I just show you the second step. Okay, so that is creating the, so we can create the storage account. Okay, so this is we done the first step. Next we move to the second one. We need to create the cognitive service face API. Okay, so let's we move to the Azure Cognitive Services. Yes, this is a very interesting one. Okay, so what is an AI? That is we all know that it is a very interesting topic. Okay, so artificial intelligence, nowadays everywhere we can have an AI. AI is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. So now we all know that the AI ruling the world. Everywhere we experience the AI. So we can have an what like AI is about an area of computer science that makes a machine seems like they have human intelligence. So AI is a technique of getting machine to work and behave like humans. So by nature, human have the intelligence, so he can able to speak, able to think, right? So human make a machine and insert their intelligence and make them to behave like a human being for solving their problems. So this is what we call it as a artificial intelligence. Okay, so everywhere we have an AI. AI is present inside the email. Whenever we receive an email, it analyzes the content which is present in the mail and predicts that either it should be placed on the inbox or it should be moved to the spam. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so we all know that Azure Cognitive Services. Okay, so actually cloud computing is a delivery of computing services including servers, storage, databases, networking, and then intelligence over the internet. Okay, so cognitive services are a set of machine learning algorithms that Microsoft has developed to solve problems in the field of artificial intelligence. So here Azure Cognitive Services, it is an Microsoft artificial intelligence service in the name of Azure Cognitive Services. So Azure Cognitive Service are a set of APIs that are designed to democratize the artificial intelligence by enabling see, speak, hear, understand and interrupt our needs using the natural method of communication. Okay, so we can make a machine and insert their intelligence artificially, so we can make a machine to see, hear, speak and understand. So it is a collection of APIs. So Azure Cognitive Services have a collection of APIs. So every API have a degree of confidence. Okay, so the degree of confidence values lies between 0 to 1. If it is 0 to 0.5, it means that it is a negative one. If it is 0.5 to 1, it says that it is a positive one. Okay, so we can make a machine and behave like a human being. Say for an example, we can convert your spoken language into the text, or finding an if you upload any images and finding the image of a person in that images means we can done with this one. Okay, so there are number of APIs are there. So those APIs are classified into 5 categories: vision, speech, language, knowledge and now previously it's in knowledge, now it's changed to the decision, and we can have a search category. Okay, so let's see what are the APIs that comes under each and every category. So these are number of APIs that comes under each and every category. So for vision, we can have the computer vision, emotion, face, form, recognizer, and lot of APIs are there. So let's have a look on that. We can have a website over there. Okay, so we can see each and every we can see some of the APIs over there. Okay, okay, so why Microsoft Cognitive Services? So it's very easy to use. So we can we can roll your own with the REST APIs. So it's very easy to create your services. We just get a key. We can create a services and grab a key and then start building your application. So it's very easy to use and it's very flexible. So you can integrate your own choice of languages. If you know Python, you can integrate into your Python. So it's very flexible and it's very easily tested. Okay, so how do we do this? Okay, so to do that, it is like an input, process, output. So we all know that this diagram. So input, process and then output. So if you need to work with the Azure Cognitive Services, we need some input. so it's like an image. Okay, so if you want to find the person in the image means you here we consider the input as an your image, and we are going to apply the cognitive services over there and getting the output. Okay, this is the manner. So we need to feed your data and applying the cognitive skills, and then we just exploring the output. Okay, so there are number of if you need to work with the Azure cognitive services, there are two ways. So if you need only the API key, okay, so this is a link, so there you can get the they are providing some API keys are there. Okay, so they are providing the free. Okay, so otherwise you can get into the Azure portal, and there you can create your Azure cognitive services. So once you create the Azure cognitive services, then you can grab the key. Okay, so we move to the demo part. Okay, so as I said before, there is some website is there. Okay, yes, our storage account is created. I just click on go to resource. Okay, so here I just go to the container. Okay, so the container is a folder. Okay, so I just create a container. This is I am in the storage one. Okay, that is the first step. Okay, so I just create an container. Okay, so .NET Learner. Blob. We need to give the public, I just give the anonymous rights and then click on create. That's it. Okay. Okay, so this is our cognitive services. Okay, so while we paste that particular link, I don't know, I just paste this one. Sorry. Okay, yes, this is if you paste this link here means you can land over to this page. Okay, this website here, it is a demo website. There you can able to find the APIs, demo for the APIs, and then I just click on the, you can see some very much pretty demos are there. So I just click on the vision one. So I just click on the computer vision. Okay, yes, the computer vision, what it performs, an AI service that analyze the content in images and videos. Okay, so while this is your demo part. Okay, so in the left hand side you can have an input, and the right hand side you can have an output for the particular image. Okay, so it have some informations over here. Okay, so I just in the bottom you can have an some demo images are there. Okay, so I just choose this one. If you go with this, otherwise you can also choose your own. Okay, so upload, and click on the browse. You can also upload your own images here. Okay, so I just go with the demo images. Okay, so I just click on this means it can get the insight information about the particular image. That is a vision category. Okay, so the vision category is that it extract the information from the particular images. Okay, so what are the object while you uploading the particular images means what it done means it divide that particular image into the number of objects. What are the objects that present in that images? We can get this here. Okay, so we can have an object footwear is there. Okay, and then a laptop is there. Okay, and then persons are there. Okay, so like that. Okay, so it is an object, and then tags, it is an tags, that is a name, and then confidence. Hope you remember that every API have a degree of confidence, like I said in the previous slide, right? So every API have the degree of confidence. If it is lies between 0 greater than 5 means it is a positive one. So there are a person, so its confident value is 0.9. Okay, so there is a laptop, and then peoples are there. Okay, so it is a indoor images. Okay, and also we can get the description of the particular images. So a group of people sitting at a table using the laptop. Okay, so and also we can get the insight information about the particular images. That is an it is a JPEG format, and the dimensions and black and white and dominant color. So gray color is a dominant color. Okay, so these are the things. If you upload this images means you can get the particular text OCR. Okay, so optical character recognitions. Okay, so it also extract the particular text over here. Okay, so we can have search facility. If you need such things in your applications, you just grab this computer vision API here. Okay, so next we can have the custom visions and all the things, and also we can have the decision API. So anomaly detector, content detectors, personalizers. So there is a lot of APIs are there. So Q&A maker API, they have some predefined questions, and then we can have an predefined answers. And also we can have the text analytics over here. So text analytics means we can have some if we need to find out either the given paragraph or given the text is a positive one or a negative one, you just copy that content here, and then we can able to find out either it is a positive one or it is a negative one. Okay, so this is some sample content here. So it says, it predicts that what languages it should be and what are the key phrases it contains, and what the overall sentiment. This is first one is the overall sentiment. So 86% positive and 14% it is a negative. And if you scroll down, you can also find out the sentiment for sentiment analysis for each and every sentences. So for first sentence you can get the 99 and 2 3 4 6, and finally in the seventh sentence we can have some I have is food didn't come fast enough, so it predicts that it is a negative one. So what are the text which is present inside that content, it depend upon the text, it tells that it is a positive or negative one. Okay, so this is for text analytics. Okay, so that's it. This is all about the Azure Cognitive Services. This is a website. There it is a free website. There you can able to find out how this API could be work. Okay. So next. Okay. So next we see about the Face API. Okay. So an AI service. Yes. So an AI service that analyzes the faces in the images, that is a Face API. So Face API belongs to the Microsoft Cognitive Service set of AI cloud services, and gives you access to some of the most advanced face recognition algorithms. Okay, so this technique used in retail, hospitals, academics, defense wings, government departments and banks, etc. Okay, so it is a biometric method of identifying an individual by comparing live capture or digital image data against the stored record for that person. Okay, so in every face we can have 27 facial landmarks are there. So those are used to detect our human faces along with attributes such as age, emotion, gender, pose, smile and facial hairs. Okay, so through this through this facial point we can able to recognize that either we can get the either that particular person, or we can capture the emotion of the particular person. Okay, so actually it capture 8 kind of emotions: anger, contempt, disgust, fear, happiness, neutral, sadness, surprise. So it if your lip upper lip bottoms and upper tip top if goes down means it predicts that it is sad. Okay, so while we are laughing our eyebrows are goes up. Through these points it can observe that he is unhappy or she is sad, etc. Okay, so main features, if you are using the Face API, these are the some of the main features, that is face detections and recognitions. Okay, so like face detection. Okay, so face detection, the system identifies the human faces in digital images. It is a source of the images. Okay, and then we can easily find out the face verification. We can compare such faces. Okay, if you have this face API is used in the Uber. Okay, so Uber face some problem that someone registered, some drivers are registered, and then they send some other person to ride. Okay, to avoid such situations, use US Uber use the face API in their applications. Okay, so here that applications ask the driver to take the photo. So the current photo is compared with the already saved photo. If both the face are same, it says that it is a safe ride. Okay, so like that. Okay, and also it can we can get the emotional recognition, so we can easily capture the emotions of the persons in the images. Okay, so these are the pricing tiers. So for free and standard, so 20 transactions per minute they give the free, so 30,000 transactions free per month. So they are providing face detection, face verification, face identification, groupings, and all the things. It is a standard one. Okay, so these are the pricing tiers. Yes, let's we move to the portal to see the face API. So before that, okay, so I will show the demo in the free website. So here you can have the face API over here. Okay, so you just click on this. Yes, so you just scroll down. So here you can have the three actions. Okay, so face detection, face verification, and emotion recognitions. Okay, so first we will see the face detection. Okay, so this is a demo image. Okay, so while you are uploading this any images here, you can get the information over here. Okay, so it is at top left. This is there is a two type of detection model. So that is a detection 2 and detection 1. So detection 2 have some very few attributes. If you choose the detection 1, we can have the detailed information about the particular images. Okay, yes, face attributes. This is the air color, so black. Okay, invisible air color, so brown. We can have, she has the brown color, and black, red. Okay, so and also she is smiling, so we can get the 1.0. And head pose and gender, he is a female, and the age of the person, and then facial hair. If you upload any male, means we can get the mustache, beard, or sideburns. So I just try it. Okay. Okay, I just click on this one. Just scroll down. Yes, we can get the mustache, beard, and sideburns. Okay, so we can get the values, and he is not wearing the glass, so we can have the no glass. And lip makeup, eye makeup, emotion. Okay, so actually he is neutral, so we can get the 0.9 in neutral, and hanger 0.001. So and we can also get the detailed information about the particular images. Okay, so this is a face detection. Okay, and then face verification. Okay, so we can compare two faces, either both are the same person or not. Okay, so here of course they are same, so we can get the 0.93. Okay, so this is your already saved photo, this is your old photo, this is your current photo. The current photo is compared with your already saved photos and compare those things. So it can compare different lightings. If you wear like cooling glasses, they ask to remove the glasses and take the photo. Okay, so it detect everything, and also we can get the values, confident values. Okay, next one, emotion recognition. So if you're uploading any group photos, we can recognize the emotion of the particular persons. So I just scroll over here. Face means I can get the values. Happiness, here he means I can get the happiness of 0.9. for him we can have the happiness 1.0. So this is we can extract the informations here by using the face API. Okay, so this is your demo website. Okay, so now we are going to create the face API service in the Azure portal. This is my portal. Okay, so I just create another tab. I just click on create a resource. Yes, under the AI plus machine learning, you can have the face. Okay, so you need to give the resource group and name. .NET Learner Face API. Pricing tier, I already choose the free one. Actually, you can have the free and standard one. I already tested for testing purpose. I just use that free one. So now I just choose a standard one. I just click on review plus create. Okay, I just click on create. Okay, it takes some time. In the meantime, I just move to the presentation. So what's our fourth one? We need to create a logic app with the face API. Okay, so before that, let's see what are the steps we need to do. Yes, so this is our first step. We have created the storage account. Next we have created the face API, and now the third step, we need to create the Excel file in OneDrive for storing our output. Okay, yes, it's created. Our cognitive service is created. I just go to resource. So what we need here is key and the endpoint. This is the thing we need from this service. Okay, so I just open my OneDrive. I already created the Excel file here. Okay, AI Logic App Demo. Under that, Logic Face API Demo. This is my Excel file. Okay, so these are the attributes I just get from the particular image which we were to upload in the blob storage. Okay, so I just get the gender, age, beard, glasses, smile. Okay, so this is our output. Okay, so I already make this one and save it under the AI Logic App Demo folder. Okay, okay, so now, okay, so almost we have done 3 steps. Okay, these 3 steps. So already we have created the storage account. That's the here. Okay, so this is our storage account, DN Learner Storage Demo, and we have created the cognitive services face API. So here DN Learner face API. Okay, so what we need here is a key and the endpoint. So and also we have created the Excel file in the OneDrive. Okay, so this is our Excel file. Okay, so now I just open another tab. So that is the fourth step. Okay, so now we need to create the logic app. Okay, okay, so just click on create a resource. Okay, the logic app is present under the integration. Yes, logic app. Otherwise you can also search here. Okay, now we need to combine all these services and create a automated workflow. So what's our for the, I just remember you. So what we need to do, whenever I add any images in the blob storage, that time I just extract the information from the particular images using the face API and save it in the Excel file. This is our workflow we need to do now. Okay, so subscription, um, resource group. Okay, this is the name of your logic app. uh, .NET learner logic app. This is your regions, and then I just click on create. Yes, without writing a single line of code, we now we are going to create an low code uh, AI application. Go to the resource. Okay, so this is your mm, page. Okay, so here you can have the overview. Okay, and activity log and all the things. So if you need to create your workflow with the code, you can choose a logic app code view. Okay, so here you can add your JSON codes. Okay, so here. Okay, so if you need, you can go with the designer. So in the designer, you can just already as I said, we can have a number of templates are over here. So you can also use the template. Otherwise, you can create a blank logic app. I just click on the blank logic app. So what I want to do now, so I just give this one. Okay, so now I just create this flow. Okay, so first step, I need to create the blob storage. I need to connect the blob storage. So Azure blob storage. Otherwise, you can search here. Already I have done. So I just click here. So when a blob is added or modified. Okay, so I just click on this one. Okay, so I just need to change this connection. Demo storage. Okay, DN storage learner, this one. I just copy this storage account and then paste it over here and then create a connection. Yes, it's created. Okay, so you need to connect the container. So container is a folder, right? So our container is a DN learner blob cont. Okay, this is our container. So open your folder. Yes, we need to connect it. And here I just give the one, and how often you want to check for the item. So by default it is a minute. For demo purpose, I just give it as every 3 seconds. You need to connect. It need to check our blob, either it is added or modified. Okay, so I just done my first step. Okay, so add image in the blob storage. Okay, so now our next step is we need to add the face API. So click on the new step, face API. So what's our action? We need to detect the faces in the particular image. Okay, so I already added this one. I need to change the connection. Add new. Okay, so this is my API, face API connection name. Okay, this is my connection name, and this is my key. Okay, and this is my endpoint. Endpoint here, it is a site URL. Click on create. Yes, it's added. Okay, so now what we need, we can extract the information using the face API. Okay, so now we need to give the image URL. Okay, so the image URL here is, I just open this container, go to the properties and copy this URL link. This is your image URL. Paste it over here. And then you need the storage URL only. Okay, and then we need to give the path here, list of file path. Okay, that's it. So that's a this is a way you need to using the face API for detecting the faces which we have uploaded here. Okay, that image. Okay, so that's it. We done the second step, and the third step is we need to store the values in the Excel file. So now we need to connecting the Excel file. Excel online OneDrive. So I kept in the OneDrive only. So okay, so we need to add a row into a table. Already I have created the table, so I need to do what I need to add a row. Okay, so just choose this one. So this is the action. Yes, it's okay. It's add-on. I need to give the table file name. Okay, so file name is a folder. So where I can it is an AI Logic App demo, right? So I just give this AI Logic App demo. What happened? Okay, so what's our Excel file? This is our Excel file. Okay, so once it's mapping means it automatically take the table name. So that is a table 1. And okay, 1 second. I need to delete this one. Excel OneDrive. Okay, add a row. Okay, need to add a file. It's in it is logic face API. Okay, so once it added, it takes the table name. So table 1. Yes, now it's loaded. Yes, here once it mapping means it can take all the field. Okay, so gender, age, beard, glasses, smile. Okay, so it automatically detect all the field here. So I just select what are the field I need. Okay, so that's it. Oh my god, I just leave the smile. I need to add the smile. Yes, it's added. Okay, so now what I want to do now is I just need to mapping the values. That's it. So for gender, I just click on gender. Okay. Yes, for age, for beard, for glasses, yes, for smile, yes, that's it. Okay, this is our flow. I have done all the steps. Okay, so I just connect the storage, face API and Excel file. Okay, so I just save this flow. Is it saved? I just click on run. So what we want to do now? So I need to check either our flow runs successfully or not. To do that, I need to upload the images in the blob storage. To do that, I just go to the blob storage. So here, and I just open the container. Okay, so I need to upload the image here. Select the file. Okay, 15. Okay, I upload this image. So this is the triggering point. So whenever we upload the images over here, so our flow will run. Let's see. Yes, it's executed successfully. Yes, whenever we can get the green tick, it says that it's executed successfully. Let's see our output. I need to refresh this one. Yes, Semail 33, uh, beard 0.9. Okay, so actually we have chosen what images? Yes, this image, right? So we can have the beard sizes 0.9 and no glasses and smile is 0.004. So that's it. Without writing a single line of code, we can create this one. Okay, so that's it. This is my session. Okay, so that's it. I just move to the presentation. Hope everyone have a clear view on this. Okay, so let's have a summary. Okay, so I just started my session with that. Okay, uh, yes, serverless computing. So next we move to we have seen the logic app. Okay, so after that we have seen that Azure storage for storing our images, and we also seen that what is an AI, and then Azure cognitive services, and we also seen the face API, what is an face API, and finally we have seen that how we can use the face API with the logic app. And also I will provide you some links. Okay, so it will help you. Okay, so I will post it in the chat box. Okay, so this is an AI lab. So if you go to this particular link, means you can explore more about the many cognitive services. AI school is there, AI demo, and also we can have the cognitive research technologies links are also here. Okay, so that's it. I did my session. So thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. So if you have any question, okay. Yeah,
Alagunila,
yes.
there's one question from Prem. Is asking a general question on cognitive services. Can we use them in enterprise application or just for POC? Can you explain the advantages and disadvantages?
Cognitive services. Sorry, and sorry, I'm
Okay.
not getting your question.
In enterprise. Oh, no, no problem. He's asking that can we use it in an enterprises or
Yes,
just
yes,
like
yes. We
some kind
can
of
use. No,
POCs?
no, no. We can use. We can use.
Okay, he was asking
Thank
that
you.
what are the advantages? Can you explain advantages and disadvantages of this?
Actually, we need not. Why we are using the cognitive services means before the cognitive services we need to sit and write all the entire coding. So, if in this demo we have seen the face API, right? So if you need, you need to set all the plenty of lines of codings we need to write. So if you need, you can just grab and you create an services, and then you just grab the key and start using. It's very easy to implement in many languages, so it's very easy to use too. This is advantages of using these services. Yes, Swami.
Yeah, I think that's the only
Yeah.
query. Uh, it
Okay.
was wonderful session, really.
Thank you, Swami. Thank you so much for this
Okay,
wonderful
th-
opportunity.
thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. The
Thank
session
you.
was really good with lots of insights, and we have our final speaker for today is Suhas. Hey, Suhas.
Yeah, hi Swami.
Hey, good afternoon, Suhas. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, Swami. How are you?
Cool, cool. I'm good. Could you please share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Is the
Cool.
screen visible to
So I
you?
will jump out and it's all yours. Yes, I'm able to see the screen. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, hello everyone. So, good afternoon. So, first of all, I appreciate your interest, like towards like learning something new. Like if you want to stay up to date with the technology, like I appreciate your interest towards learn something new and keep up your good work. Like basically, I learn something new every day. Like every half an hour, like at the end of the day, I spend 30 minutes to explore some blogs and some things. So I'm following it for up to 2.5 to 3 years, and yeah, it makes an impact for me. Maybe you can also do try that one. Just spend an half an hour at the end of every day and try to learn something new, and some just read a blog or any interesting update in your favorite technology. So thanks for your interest, and thanks to Swami for this opportunity, and .NET Learners House community. So today my topic is, let's say, explore C Sharp 9. So I'm working with C Sharp around 2.5 to 3 years. uh, yeah, it's been a good language, and I have seen a good progress in C Sharp 9 and also with the .NET community. So today we'll explore some good features that are implemented in C Sharp 9. So mostly my session would be like a kind of a demo. So I don't have much slides. So directly we'll see the demo. Before that, we'll see I have around 3 to 4 slides. We'll just quickly go through that, and we'll quickly jump onto the demo. So before going on to the session, just a small introduction about me. So I'm Suhas. I am a senior software engineer. So I have around 3+ years experience in this IT field, and basically I am familiarized with Angular, C Sharp, SQL, Azure, Visual Studio, DevOps, etc. And also, like after some time, I thought it's time to give back to the community, so I started writing blogs and giving tech talks. So these are my two sites I write blogs. So one is devsuhas.com, it's my personal site. So I write blogs about, as I said, Angular, C Sharp, .NET, and JavaScript, DevOps, Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, etc. And techme360.com is one of my so it's my company's community. So I also write blogs in that site. And after writing blogs and giving tech talks, I also became a organizer of two meetups. So one meetup is techme360. We organize meetups every month. So it is mainly focused on Microsoft technologies. So we'll take a technology. Let's say a month we'll take SQL Server, and we'll have 4 to 5 talks in SQL Server. So likewise, monthly we'll have meetups, and one more meetup is Talklify. So this was started by myself and Sundaram. So we are doing meetups every second Saturday of every month. So we'll do meetups. It also related to Microsoft technology, and we have another community called NG Kerala, which is focused only on Angular. So if you want to know more about Angular, you can join NG Kerala events. We This event will be conducted last Saturday of every month. So this is just a small introduction about me. I write blogs. I'm a senior software engineer. I do meetups. If you want to stay connected, my Twitter handle is ng_suhas. You can just follow me. Okay, so let's jump on to the session. So if you have any questions, any queries, you can raise it in the chat. So maybe we'll pick it up. We'll pick it up at the last, or if it's an important question, we'll pick it up as the session goes on. Okay, cool. So we'll just move on to the first slide today. Okay. Okay, so the agenda is what are the current .NET standards, and why .NET 5, and we'll see C Sharp 9 features, and directly we jump onto the demo. So nothing much. So it will be very simpler. I don't have to. I won't make my sessions more complex. So it will be very much focused, and I will show you some of the interesting features how you can try it out by yourself. Okay, so first we'll see what are the current .NET standards. Okay, so most of you were aware of the current .NET standards. We have three things, right? .NET Framework, .NET Core, and .NET Standard. Okay, so when I started learning .NET, so first of all I realized, so why there are three things. So why should I learn three things? And then I was just googling the difference between .NET Framework, .NET Core, .NET Standard. Okay, so then there were some distinguished between tables. There were fancy tables with some 7 to 8 points. Those were all fine, but I thought, why there are three standards? Like, um, like instead of, and also there are a lot of challenges. Like if you want to if you want to create a library, like if you're choosing a library, sometimes it will work for .NET Framework and it won't for .NET Core. And let's say I'm currently starting an application, building an application using .NET Framework, and after 2 years, it became a large enterprise application. And let's say my boss came to me and say please migrate it to .NET Core. Like it won't happen overnight, right? So migrating an .NET framework application to .NET Core, it will take some effort. So it's not an it won't happen in an hour, in a day, or in a week. It will take at least if it's a large enterprise application, it may take up to 5 to 6 months if it has a lot of APIs, authentication, etc., etc. Okay, so those are the challenges. Like there were three main standards, and three has its own advantages and disadvantages. If you want to develop an only focused on Windows-based application, like if you focus more only on Windows a platform, you'll go for .NET Framework. If you focus only on cross-platform application, you go for .NET Core. And let's say you want to build a library to be consumed by both .NET Framework and .NET Core projects, you'll create a library in .NET Standard, and you can share it across these things. Yeah, so it sounds complicated, right? It more, like it can be first, when I started learning .NET, I thought, yeah, why it can't be achieved with just a single platform? Like why can't we learn just a .NET? Like what is .NET? So why are we learning all these three things, and why are we confusing it? And also we have like if you want to develop mobile application, we have a Xamarin for that, as you see it in the diagram, iOS, etc. So this is the these are the three .NET standards which was high level, which was confusing a lot of persons. Uh, but yeah, so those are the challenges were addressed by Microsoft. Like in early October 2020, they came up with a solution of introducing .NET 5. Okay, so what's a .NET 5? So as I said, hereafter you don't have to learn about framework core standard. So it's going to be a single platform, .NET 5. So where you can develop all types of applications: desktop, web, cloud, mobile, gaming, IoT, AI, etc. So you can develop a hell lot of applications you want. And hereafter, you don't have to worry about migrating your application from framework to core. But let's say if you want to migrate your .NET framework application to .NET 5, it will also take some effort. So it's also not direct thing. But if you are migrating .NET core application to .NET 5, I think it will be easier. But .NET framework to .NET 5, there'll be some effort. Because .NET 5 was built upon .NET Core. Like the .NET Core was the base, and they built upon that. And .NET Framework was they're just solving some problems to like to work when you choose a .NET Framework. So the migration will always be a challenge. If you're migrating the applications, it will always be a challenge. But Microsoft, they thought, building a we'll build a new platform, just .NET 5, and hereafter we'll just have one standard, .NET standard, and based upon that we'll build all the applications. So this sounds good. When they introduced this, I thought, yeah, this is a good approach. And they will also like they'll slowly start deprecating all these .NET framework. I think they have already announced on November they'll be start deprecating .NET framework. I think I'm not sure about it, but yeah, but as the days goes on, in one of the conference, Scott Hunter, he mentioned, like we'll be slowly start deprecating all the .NET framework core standard, etc. And in the future we'll have only one .NET. So maybe once once you settle your application, I think your application will be it is good to migrate your application to .NET 5 sooner or later. Like they will deprecate framework, and framework they will deprecate. I'm not sure about the core. um, so that's one of the cool things they introduced .NET 5. And in .NET 5 only they have introduced this C Sharp 9, which is a good thing. And so how you can try out this .NET 5? So we have cool tools, as you see it in the right hand side of the image. Visual Studio for Mac, and Visual Studio Code and command line interface. So we have cool tools. You can try out this .NET 5 very easily. So I'll also show you how you can set up the environment for trying out .NET 5. It will be very much simpler. So we'll actually start from the base, like how you can set up the environment, how you can create a console app, and what are the new features you can try out in the console app. And at the end, we'll have the Q&A and we'll wrap up the session. Okay, so this is about .NET 5. So to give a gist, so it's just a unified platform. Hereafter, there are no three .NET standards. That is just only one and only .NET 5. Okay. The next thing is C Sharp 9 features. Okay. So these are some of the some of the features. Okay. Okay. So the third point is not init only setter. So sorry for that, guys. So this is what happens when you create a slide at 11 o'clock in the night. So the third point is records. So sorry for that. The first point is init only setters. Second point is logical or property patterns. Third point is records. Fourth point is pattern matching. So these are the four things we are going to see today. Like we'll see how what are these, and how it is being improved in C Sharp 9. So before jumping onto the demo, so those who are new to C Sharp, so what is C Sharp? C Sharp is just an object oriented programming language. It was built upon .NET. Uh, so you can develop all kinds of applications, like I mentioned, web, gaming, mobile. Using Xamarin, you can create a mobile application, and you can develop most of the applications, I guess. I'm not sure about the gaming, but other than that, you can develop all types of IoT, etc. applications using C Sharp. It's possible. It's one of the powerful language in .NET world. Um, like after Java, I think like according to my experience, I worked on Java. So after Java and C++, so after that, I'm seeing this as one of the good language upon developing stuffs. Okay, so this is about what is C Sharp, and these are some of the cool features that were introduced in C Sharp 9. So as I said, talk less, work more, code more. So I'll just jump onto the tools. So we'll see what are the tools which can be used to try out C Sharp, etc. And we'll see some of the best tools, and we'll see some comparison, and we'll do some coding. So after 2 to 3 months, I'm going to do some live coding. So bear with me, guys. Like if I do something wrong, please mention it in the comments. I'll try to correct it. Okay. So let me switch on to other screen. So okay, so let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, my screen is visible, Swami.
We lost your screen.
Okay, so
Now I
you're
got it
seeing
back.
my okay, you're seeing my Chrome, right, Swami? Google Chrome.
Yes. Yes, I'm seeing it.
Okay, fine. Okay, so let me just keep it in this window. Okay. Okay, so the first thing is, so what are the things you require to try out .NET 5, right? So those are the main things you want to know. So first we'll start off with the basics. So just first you go to Google. So if you don't know anything, just go for google.com. So let's say I want to try out .NET 5. So first you need is the SDK. So just search for .NET 5.0 SDK. So here you'll get a link. The first link, download .NET 5.0, and here you have to. So there'll be a clean table, so which will mention what version of Visual Studio you want, and let me zoom in a little bit. Maybe you'll get a clear view of it. So this is one of the clear table which has good information. What Visual Studio version you want to have to test V5.0. So, and what are the SDK you want to download, and runtime, etc. The first thing is you need the SDK to try out 5.0. So as I said, you can yeah, it's a kind of cross platform. You can download Linux, Mac, Windows, etc. So you just select the respective x64 or 32-bit or ARM 64. Select any of the options, and if you click that, your file gets downloaded. That's it. So nothing much here. So for now I'll just cancel it, and you can just double click and you can just install it. So nothing much. And the next thing is you want to install the .NET runtime 5.0.2. And as in this table, just select the respective versions and respective, sorry, byte, 32 byte or 64 byte, and just click and the file will be downloaded. So these are the two things you want to download and you have to install to try out .NET 5. Okay. So without these, the .NET 5 templates, it won't be. Without this, you won't able to create a console app in Visual Studio. Okay. So this is the first thing, guys. So just download SDK .NET 5.0 SDK and runtime. So the next step, the tool is very much important, right? The developer tools. Like which tool can I prefer? Okay, so I recommend for now use Visual Studio. Okay, so to download Visual Studio, just go for visualstudio.com. You can go for visualstudio.com, and there'll be three things: Visual Studio Code, and Visual Studio Mac. Visual Studio. Okay, so just click here, and there'll be three editions: Community, Professional, Enterprise. And if you want to try it out for free, you can just go for Community Edition. It is completely free for you. And Professional Enterprise is a kind of paid one. You need a license for it. So there are some differences between Professional and Enterprise. So I'm not going to say about that because it's a much deviation from the session. So, but the difference between these three is if you want to try it out for free, you can go for Community, and if you have license, you can try out Professional or Enterprise. And Visual Studio Code. Okay, so these two tools, right, Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code, like they say Visual Studio as an IDE, but VS Code as an text editor. But I strongly disagree with that. But why so? It's because VS Code, like first it was developed to be an uh, text editor, but as the days pass on, it actually became an IDE. Like how it became an IDE with the help of extensions. So this is my VS Code. So in VS Code we have a thing called extensions. So this is the thing, guys, like say extension. So what is an IDE? So basically an IDE, in IDE you can able to compile, debug, deploy, etc., right? So the same thing can be achieved using Visual Studio Code. Like let's say I want to debug an C# application. I can go to this extension and I can able to say C# debugger. I can able to install this extension and I am able to debug the all the C# applications. Likewise, let's say I'm trying out Java. So that'll be the Java extension pack, and I'm able to Java applications and debugger for Java, and I can also able do the same for PHP, etc. and whatnot. For every language, it might have, and for Python, there might have some extension. Yeah. So here, VS Code became very much powerful with the help of this extensions. Actually, it became an IDE. I like this VS Code, very much because it's a lightweight tool when compared to Visual Studio. Like you can, it's just a small MB file. You can just download and install it. Like if you have, like if your RAM is around 4 GB RAM, you can just install a VS Code. But if you want to try out Visual Studio, like the PC requirements, the hardware requirements will be very much higher. Okay, so this about a small, but you cannot say which is best. So it is like Captain America versus Iron Man. Like both are my favorite. You cannot say which is best. Likewise, these two tools is best on their own way. Basically, I use Visual Studio Code for my front end development. Like if I'm doing some coding in Angular, I choose VS Code. If I'm doing some things in back end, let's say in C# or Web API, I'm going to create a Web API, I'll use Visual Studio. So these are some of the difference. But in this demo, we'll check out Visual Studio. So just go for visualstudio.com and install your Community Edition, or if you have license, Professional and Enterprise. Okay, so these are the two things to get started. So this is a kind of prerequisite if you want to try out .NET 5. So just install SDK 5.0 and go to visualstudio.com, install Visual Studio. So that's it. Okay, so let's move on to the demo. So enough of speaking. So let me close this one and let me minimize this one. Okay, so I'm going to open Visual Studio 2019. So it's loading. Okay, so before, when you create a console app, it won't allow you to choose whether you want to create a .NET Core or .NET 5.0. So it will automatically create .NET Core, and you have to manually go to your project and you have to change to .NET 5.0. So basically you want to get that selection right. So if you want to going to create a console app, it would be good if you get a selection, like say if you want to create a .NET Core console app or .NET 5 console app. So those selection you want to enable it manually. It won't, it won't enable it by default. So how you can do that? Just open your Visual Studio, like you can see, just continue with the code and your Visual Studio gets open. And if you go to tools and options, so so let me use some magnifier here. So here you can see general, and we have these things, right? So okay, something happened. Magnifier. Okay, so that was not a good experience. Sorry for that. Okay, so if you go to tools, options, and preview features, so that's a checkbox called show all .NET Core templates in the new project dialog. So just check this checkbox. So you'll get, so when you create a console app, it will prompt you to choose whether you want to create a .NET Core console app or .NET 5 console app. Okay, so just go for I'll repeat once again: tools, options, preview features, and just enable this checkbox which is called as show all .NET Core templates in the new project dialog. And once you check okay and just close this Visual Studio and just reopen it, you'll able to select the template. Okay, so let us see whether the selection comes now. So I'm going to create a new project, and this Visual Studio allows you to again actually filter templates. It is actually loading my predefined templates. So here I can able to select which language I'm going to create an application and what platform, or it's a console or exe or a desktop, IoT, etc. So here I'm going to select console application .NET Core. I'm going to say click next, and I'm giving a project name for it. So I'm going to say .NET Learners House. So I'm going to say next. So here comes the selection. So this selection, like this won't come by default. Like if you didn't enable the checkbox, what happens is, right, if you click next, it will directly create an .NET Core console app. And you have to go to your project properties and you have to manually change it to .NET 5. So to avoid that, you can enable the checkbox, and now you can select .NET 5.0. Okay, and then click create. Okay, so now our console application will be created. So let us wait for a couple of minutes. Okay, so now, so I'll zoom in a little bit, maybe. This is too much. Okay, I hope this is fine. Okay, so here, yeah, whenever you create a new program in any language, the first line will be hello world. That's fine. So here, this is our .NET 5 console app. So this is our project. If I go to properties, I can able to see .NET 5.0. It has been selected. Okay, the first thing I loved in C# is, like hereafter I don't need this static void main class, etc. So I can just delete this one, and I can also delete this namespace and delete all these things, and I can just say using system and console.writeline. So that's it. So this is, this gives me an experience, of using JavaScript, of writing a JavaScript application or a Python. Like hereafter we don't need this namespace and static void main or forks or class namespace, etc. Just if you want to try out, just give console.writeline, like JavaScript console.log, and you can just give double quotes whatever you want. So this is one of the coolest thing they did it in C Sharp 9. So hereafter you don't have like, if you want, you may have that namespace concept if you want, but it's not, necessary to have that namespace concept hereafter in .NET 5 and C Sharp 9. So that is one of the good things. So let me try to run this application. So let us see what we are getting. Okay. Okay, so we are getting hello world. That's fine, everything working fine. So that's it. So this is our first improvement. They made it in C Sharp 9. Okay, so we'll just park this one. So let us write some code. So write some code and we'll explore some features in C Sharp 9. So currently I'm going to create a class called person, and I'm going to create an object for it, and we'll write a function to display the details. So very simple. So so let us first of all create a class. So I'm going to say class person maybe, and I'm going to say sorry, public string first name. So let us try to avoid the space, and then string, and then second name. So we'll also have an age, probably public int age. So simple class, we have three things: get, set, etc. And then I'm going to create an object for it, where person equal to new person, and I'm going to initialize my values. First name, sorry, it should be last name, sorry for that. And then last name equal to Parmeshwara, and my age, oh, I forgot my age, so I'll randomly do 25. Okay, so I have created object, so I have to display it in a console. So for that, I'm going to write a function for it. So I'm going to say static void display person details of. I'm going to have a person object here, and I'm going to say console dot write line, and I'm going to say person details, and again I'm going to say console dot write line dollar, and I'm going to say person dot first name and person dot last name. Okay, so I think for now you don't have any doubts, I guess. Okay, we'll just call this function to display the details. Okay. Okay, so here it's just a simple code, nothing fancy. We have a class person, and we are creating an object. We have defined some values, and we have a function which displays the person details. So nothing much. But like these top things, right? So it will act as a main program. So let's say it is under static void main. So it is basically, it is in a different scope. It is in a different scope. So maybe if you have heard a term called top level statements. So top level statements should always precede the must be precede the type declaration. So let's say I'm going to say console.writeLine here. Okay. So if I'm giving something, actually it will throw me an error. So what's that error? Top level statements must precede namespace and type declarations. So basically this acts as an main scope. So this acts as an another class. So after that class you cannot define a statement something like this. So because top level statements should always precede namespace and type declarations. Okay, but that's why you cannot mention console.writeLine after the type declaration. So here if I run this program, so let's see what we are getting. Okay, so I'll try to avoid this info message because it is kind, we are losing some focus. Okay, so we have three things. So hello world, second thing is person details who has Parameshwara. So that's it. It looks clean, right? So nothing fancy. So we have this acts as a main scope. The first thing we are going to see is the init setups. So let's say, so what's the use of the use of that init, and how it is benefited. So we'll see how it can be done. So let's say we have an person object, and the first name is Suhas and last name is Parameswara, and age is 25. So let's say someone assigns person dot age equal to 45, which is very bad, right? So I'm not that much older. So once the object is declared, I don't want to change that value. So I don't want the value to be manipulated once after the object is initialized, right? So there will be some scenarios. Once after the object initialization, you don't have to change that value. So there'll be scenarios if you want to, if you want to do those kind of things. So for that purpose, they have introduced this init keyword. So let's say I have this age, right? So I have this get and set. So instead of this set, if I give init, this there'll be a red squiggle line, and I'm not sure whether you can able to see the error, but I'll just read it out. Init only property or indexer person.age can only be assigned in an object initializer or on this or base in an instance constructor or an init accessor. Okay, so what it says is, it can, if you give an init, you can you can just assign the value in object initialization only. You cannot assign values after that. So that's one of the important property of init. You can just do it only at the object initialization. You cannot change the value after once declaring some value for it. The same for, you can use whatever. So let's say in your requirement, some values can be changed, some values it is not necessary to be changed, right? So there can be a combination of init fields and set fields. So it's totally based upon your requirement. If you want to change all in it, you can just change it, or if you don't want, you can just leave it. But now in this scenario, I am able to change the last name because I am set it to just set using the set keyword. Test. So this works fine, nothing no error, nothing fancy. So this looks fine, right? So here there'll be some error because it throws error because of the init keyword. So this is the first thing, guys. If you have any doubts regarding init, so just post it in the comments. We'll pick it up at the last. And okay, so the next thing is the so what are the logical or property pattern which was introduced in C# 9? So basically, we have is keyword in C#. I think it was introduced in C# 7 or 8 case, 8 I guess. I'm not sure about it. Using this is and or, so they so previously we used this and, right, and instead of that they have introduced and instead of this or, you can just use or, something like that. So using this uh, logical pattern or property pattern, the readability of code will be very much useful. For example, so let us see, I can write code something like if of person is null. So what does this condition mean? If the object is null, so just say console dot write line object is null. But now I won't get any because it's not null. So I can also check for is not null. So I think this is one of the new keyword introduced in C# 9. Not null, you can also check not null if you run the, okay, the message is not good. So I'll just change it, and for now I'll just comment this one. And if I run this, it should print object is not null. So as you see, object is not null. So if it's null, it will come into this, come into this thing, and it will be null. So let me try to create an empty object test, and I can say null. Okay, it cannot be declared, so I'll give it as null. Okay, just to show you guys how it going to work. Yeah, so it says object is not null. Basically, it comes into this if loop, and it runs. So is null is not null is a good thing they have introduced in C# 9. And one other thing is, the, as I said, and or operator, using the and or operator. So let's say person is not null. uh, um, let's say if you want to check, the first name is Suhas, so basically you will write and person dot first name equal to Suhas. Okay, so here you are saying and person dot first name equal to Suhas. So here, using this logical property pattern, they have improved a little bit. Using instead of this and you can just say and instead of this person dot first name, how you can do is just delete the person and you can just say curly brace and close this curly brace here and remove this equal to and just give colon. So this is equal to and person dot first name equal to Swas. So both the conditions are same. So nothing, no difference between them. So basically, this condition and this condition is same, but here I'm seeing some readability improved, and this looks good actually. So here I can also add and or, and I can say last name equal to Parameshwara, something like that. Okay, so I need to do it in a double quotes. Okay, so by doing this, this remains the same. By doing this, we can able to, it's a kind of, just reading an English, right? So if person is not null and the first name Suhas, or so it's giving me the, it's not like a code more to me. It's a kind of just reading a sentence for me. It makes, the readability improvement, because readability is very much important when you're writing a code. Like when you jump on to some other's code and when you just read it, sometimes you get some hectic, right? Like what's the code, I'm unable to understand it. But this kind of definition, this is very much helpful. This will improve the readability of the code, and this will also improve, if you are going to start follow it in a large enterprise application. Definitely it will make an impact, to debug the code very much easier. So we'll just see whether if it works or not. So I'm going to just delete it, and I'm going to say hell yeah, it's Swas. So if you run this thing, I'm expecting the output as hell yeah, it's Suhas. Yes, so we are getting the output. So likewise, this usage of and or is very much improved, and you can also able to use it. And one more thing I want to show you is, so let's say I want to do a age calculation. So I have to do something like this, and person dot age greater than 25. I need to do something. So this also you can achieve it using this expression. What you can do is, let's say and I'm going to say age, and I'm going to say greater than 25. So so both these things are same. So I'm just having an uncondition and age which is greater than 25. So here I'm keeping it as a colon, and I'm saying say greater than. You can also say less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to, whatever you want. You can give the operators. So it's totally based upon your things. So both these things are the same. If you want to use greater than, you can use something like this. If you want to direct comparison the string, you can just give colon and double equal. You can just do it. So this is one of the good improvement. I see it in C#9. This will definitely make an impact in large enterprise application. I'm sure about it. This will also will be very much useful when you debug an application to understand the conditions very much better. So this is the second thing which we have seen, logical or property pattern, which improve the readability of the code. So hope this it has there are no doubts. So we'll move on to the next thing. Okay. So the next thing is the records. Okay. So most of you know the classes, right? So we have a person class. So we have created an object for it. So the class is more of objects. When you speak about a class, you cannot you cannot resist about speaking it as an object, right? How you can access the class members, you have to create object for it. So the object plays an important role, the important role in a class. Like rather than the values, objects plays an important role, and all the values are mutable in class. So there was a requirement by, they introduced this record, and it was going on for, C sharp 7 or below, lower than that, I guess. The talk was going on for the records concept was discussed very long time, but it came into live in C sharp 9. So what's the main purpose of introducing records is, it is more of, it is more focused on values rather than objects, but the way of creation. And one more thing I want to say is, record is a reference type. If you want to create, if you want to have a value, and if you want to refer the values, like, you can go for records. So it is a more of a reference type. It is not as a, value type as struct. And the class is also a reference type. So once the once the demo of records is over, we'll see a clear difference between records, classes, and struct. So before that, so what is a record? Record is mainly focused on value comparison, rather than the objects. So in class, it is focused on objects, not on the values. And if you want to create an immutable reference type, you can go for records. So these are the main things I want to convey in records. So how you can declare a record? It's very simple. I'm going to say a record student. It's same as that class, so nothing much different. So I'm going to say string first name. Okay, sorry for that. And then I'm going to say last name prop, and I'm going to say let me use some integer. Okay. So it looks similar, right? So nothing much. So here we have this record keyword. So this record keyword which was introduced in C sharp 9. So we have the same things: first name, last name, age, etc. So let us create a uh, object for it. So where student equal to new student, and I'm going to say the same thing. So let me just copy and paste. So basically this is a class and this is a record, so nothing much major difference till now. But okay, so let us try to create another person and other student. So I'm going to say where other person equal to new person, and I'm going to give the same values. So let me this, and I'm going to create another student record which says other student. Okay. So just to give a gist about it, we have an person and we have other person, we have a student record and we have other student record. So let us try to compare the objects, compare the objects using the equals. So we'll just do console dot write line, and we'll say equals of person comma other person. Okay. So equals, so basically it will, determines whether the specified object instance are considered equal. So I was just reading the definition. When I hover it says me, it determines whether the specified object instances are considered as equal. So I have mentioned the two person and other person in the equals, and let me do the same for records. So let me just copy paste, and I'll just say student and other student. So I'll just run this program, and we'll see the output, and maybe output you'll get a clear idea of it. Okay, the first thing I'm getting it as a false, right? So the first thing I'm getting it as false, because it is more focused on objects. Class is more focused on objects. Both these two things create different objects, and they have different values, different memories, etc., etc. But when you see it as a record, it came as true because it is more focused on values. So basically it will compare whether the student dot first name, it has the same first name, it has the same last name, it has the same age, something like that. It will do the value comparison, and it will compare the values, but the reference will be different. So let's say I'm printing the reference, so we'll try to do a reference equals. So I'll just copy and I'll just paste, and if I say reference equals, So if we try to run this program, so first false true is expected, but here, yeah, both will be false, because the reference will always be different. So that point, there's no change between the class and the record. But when we just compare two classes, two records is more focused on values. So it will just compare whether the values are same, and it will throw you true. And if it's a class, definitely there are two different objects, two different memory allocations, so the equals will have also have false. So that's the main difference between a record and a record and a class. And one more thing is, if I just do console dot write line, so let me copy, and let me just say person, and let me do console dot write line, and I'm going to say student. Okay, so let me try to run this thing. Okay, so here you can see the first output is person. I'm unable to see the values of it. But if I print a record, I'm able to see what's the first name, last name, age, etc., etc. So it is more focused on value, so it will give you a value. Person is a kind of basically the output is from which class it has been created, the object. So that's the output we are getting it here. From which class this object has been created, it's the person, but we will be unable to see the output of it. But if you print a record, you would be able to see a value, something like that. And one more thing is, one more thing I adore in records is, so let's say I want to create another student record with the same age, but the first name and last name is different. How can I do that? I can just say, hopefully it works. I haven't tried out before. I just seen it in a YouTube. Let's see if that works. So I'm going to say student with, I'm not sure, it's with student with, and I'm going to say first name is maybe um, test, and last name is uh, again test. So just for test. I'm very bad at naming, guys, sorry for that. So let me try to just comment this one, and let me try to print other student. So what will be the output, guys? So the output will be test and 25. So basically the age will be copied. So basically the with keyword, what happens is it will copy the values of first name. It will copy all the values actually. So it will copy all the values. Once you define it in this curly brace, it will set the values for that respective thing, and the other values will be copied from the original thing. So this can be done in the record, but I'm not sure about the class. I think it cannot be achieved with the class. But in the record, you can just say student with first name equal to test and the last name equal to test. The values will be assigned, and output will be something like below. So this is one other thing that you can do with records. So let me just close this one. And one more thing is inheritance. So how it can be done in records. It's the same thing. So let's say I'm going to create a class, person 2, and I'm going to just inheriting person. I can just define and everything looks fine, right? The same thing I can do with records. So record student, sorry for the naming, guys, student, and I can able to inherit a record. But what you cannot do is you cannot inherit a class from a record. You cannot do this thing. So there'll be a red line. Records may only inherit from object or another record. So that's the thing. So the same applies for class. Like let's say I'm giving it for a record. The same. Only records may inherit from other records. So you cannot inherit a record for a class, etc. So you cannot do vice versa. So the inheritance concept is the same for records. Like the values would be copied, all the members you can able to access it in the base class, etc. All the concepts are the same in compared to class and records. The inheritance you can do it. All the oops concepts you can do it using these records. And one more thing is this is one way of declaring record. And other way of declaring it is you can also do something like this. You can also do something like this. But what happens is, it is a kind of, how can I say it? It is a kind of parameterized constructor. Uh, so in a layman term view, we can say it as an parameterized constructor. Basically, it is expecting a value in the constructor. So we have to pass an value, but it is a kind of this value is like assigned during the object initialization, but it is expecting an argument for it, something like this. So now the error will be gone. So you can also declare record something like this, string first name. So it is a kind of required one. So let's say I'm going to create a record. This is a kind of required first name and last name is a kind of required one. I can keep like that. Um, um, uh, so this is one of the use case of creating a record. In some of let's say some of the fields I need, I know it's kind of mandatory one. I can just paste it here because whenever you create a record, it will ask for it. So it's kind of functions. So in creating a function, something like that. And during inherit also, you can just inherit the respective value and you can just play around with it. So these are records, guys. You can declare a record, something like that, and you can define a value, get set, and here also you can use that init keyword. Yeah, you can just use init if you want, or set if you want. It's your choice. And if you want to give a mandatory fields, you can create first name. And as we did some comparison using equals, class is more of object comparison, where records are more of value comparison. But both are reference types, and yeah, reference will always be different. So if you create a record and if you compare two records, or if you create two class and if you compare reference, it will be always false. But this equals will be true for records, but it will be false for classes. And one more thing is, when I learned records, like why can't we go for struct? Because struct is also the same thing, guys. Like if you have heard about the struct concept, the same thing can be achieved by struct. But there was one Stack Overflow answer I had made, like that was a short thing. So I'll show you. So how we can choose a version, whether a struct or a record or class. So a struct class or user data type, structures are value types. So the structures are value types, as you mentioned. Classes are reference types. Records are immutable reference types. So these are the three main difference. Structures are value types, classes are reference types, records are immutable reference types. Like if you don't want to change the data, uh, if you want to apply data only at the object initialization, just go for records. Or the values are changing, go for classes. If you want to more into value types, just use structures. And how you can choose, if your data logically references single value similar to primitive types like int, double, if it has an instance size under 16 bytes, and if it is immutable, and if you don't have to box it frequently, you can go for struct. So if you want to go for a reference, in reference we have two categories, class and record. So let's say if you want your data to be immutable, just go for record. And if your data don't want to be immutable, just go with class. And in C#10, this is a good point. So there's a thing called anonymous objects. So I like know that's also a different topic. So I'll allow you guys to explore. This things will allow you to create an anonymous records. So these are the main three things, guys. Like if you want to go for value types, use struct. If you want a reference types, go for class and record. If you want to choose immutable reference types, just go for record. I think it gave some idea about the difference between records, classes, and struct. If you have any doubts, you can just search. There are good number of blogs in the Google sites which represents a clear difference between struct, classes, and records. If you have any questions, just post it in the comments. I'll try to answer at the end of the session if I'm aware of that. Okay. So the last thing is the okay, 440. Okay, so the last thing is the pattern matching. So it's one of my favorite, like uh, I like to use these switch cases. Like I use most of time I use switch cases because we'll have number of conditions. So instead of if I go for switch conditions. In the switch conditions you can use some pattern matching. So I'm just opening a project. So okay, so let me keep it in this side. Okay, so let us try to use this. Let us see what is this pattern matching and how it can be achieved using switch, and what are the pattern matching expression we can try it out using this switch statement. So I'm just going. I'm having this student and class person. Okay, everything fine, and I'm going to just write a function called public string, and I'm going to say get object. So this function is going to receive an dynamic object. Okay, so this function is going to receive a dynamic object. So let me try to undo, and let me say, and here I'm going to say dynamic object switch. So this is where I'm going to introduce the switch expression, and in this, so let's say this object can be any object, right? So this can be any person object, student object, table object, etc, etc, etc. So using the switch expression, I can able to check whether it's a object is null. So how it can be done? I'm going to say null and just use arrow function, and I'm going to say object is null, and other thing is not null, and I can also able to say object is not null. So this is cool, right? Using the switch expression, I can able to say null and not null. So this is a kind of case null, case not null, the same thing. I can say null and not null. And one, so in previous version on C sharp, instead of this null, they were having this condition. So they will use this underscore and they will say object is null. So instead of this, they bought this null and not null condition in C sharp 9. And let's say if you are expecting an object, so let's say I'm expecting an person object. So I'm expecting some person object, and I'm saying this is an person object. Okay, so let me put a comma, and let me okay, so let me just put this class just okay, so let me, shall we delete these things? Okay, I don't need other student, and I don't need other person, and I also don't need a record for it. Okay, I'll also delete hello world. Okay, so this we have a clear picture of it. So we have a person, and a person, we have a get object method, and it is just a switch case, like it is checking whether it's a person object and whether it's a null and not null. So let us try to say console dot write line, and okay, I need to say person dot get object of person. Okay, so in the class, basically I have this function. So I'm saying person dot object, and I'm sending some object. So the output should be person object, right? Like it will go into the person and will print will get the string as person object. So let us try to run this application, and we'll see what output we are getting. Yeah, so we are getting it as person object, so which is expected. So let's say I'm just going to assign this as null. Okay, you cannot assign a vat null. Okay. So if you do this thing, okay, why it's, oh, okay, got it. So let me do something like this: object test equal to null, and I'm going to say test. So now we'll get output as object is null because I have declared it as null. And if I run this program, I can say object is null. So basically, you have to keep the not null condition at the last, because if there are any objects, it will just print it. Try to find it out here. If you paste a not null at the first, every time you'll get object is not null. So you have to paste this not null condition at the last. Okay, so this is one of the pattern matching null and not null. And one more thing you can do is, so let's say I want to check whether the first name is Suhas. I want to just print this condition. So how can I do that? So let me try to delete this one, and I have this person, and I can able to write a condition using when clause. I can say when. So let me change this to person. So when person dot first name equal to Suhas. So now the condition is saying like when person dot first name equal to Suhas, and I'm saying um, I'm not sure whether this works. Okay, I think it's this and it's not working in the switch. I'm not sure about it. Uh, okay, so we'll use this and so person dot last name equal to Parameshwara. So now this kind of expression can be done in the switch case. So we are actually pattern matching, like we are finding some patterns, like when the first name Suhas and last name is Parameshwara, we are getting we are printing some value. So likewise, you can also compare greater than condition, like if you have an age, you can do greater than, less than, etc., etc., and you can just map do the respective pattern matching using the switch statements. This pattern matching is keep on improving, guys. You can do hell lot of things using this switch expression. This pattern matching is one of the I would say this is one of the most powerful feature in C sharp. You can do pattern matching at the best. So there's a video in YouTube which was I think it was in October 16, I guess. It was about what's new in C Sharp 9. So there was a cool program written by Scott Hunter, I guess. The switch expression method was very much cool. There were a lot of things they were doing it in that switch pattern matching. So pattern matching is one of the most powerful feature and most useful feature in C Sharp. Like if you want to know more about it, you can there's an official Microsoft blog, and you can just go and explore about pattern matching. Okay, so those were all the things, guys. Pattern matching, this is the last thing I want to cover in C sharp 9. So basically I'll just I'll just give a rewind of what we saw. First we saw about the .NET standards, and Microsoft introduced .NET 5. It's a unified platform. And what's the prerequisite? What is C sharp? It's just an object-oriented programming language. It was built upon .NET. You can develop various types of applications. And what are the prerequisites to try out .NET 5? Install .NET 5.0 SDK, .NET 5.0 runtime, install Visual Studio version 16.8, and if it's Mac, it's 8.8. So just install respective Visual Studio, and just to create a console app, and you can try out all the things you want. And what are the C sharp 9 features we saw? Init, like if you want to set values only during object initialization, use init keyword. And the patterns we saw using and or in the if statement, where when we see it, we are feeling it like an English sentence, not an coding kind of form, which will definitely improve the readability. And the third one is records. So what is a record? It is an immutable reference type. You can declare values, so all the inheritance concept is the same. Records is a more of focused on values rather than objects, as in class. So in class we'll compare the objects, but in records we'll compare the values. The last one we saw is pattern matching. You can do pattern matching using this when clause, and you can do some conditions, null, not null, etc. So those are the things, guys. So let me share any questions. I think we came to the end of the session. Okay, I think I completed before 5 minutes. I think it's fine. If you have any questions or any suggestions, like like you can also mention it. Like if I said any information wrongly, you can just mention it in the comments. I'll try to improve it later in the sessions.
This one question was
Yeah.
Prem is asking. Is
Yep.
telling what are to consider to migrate from .NET Core to .NET Core 3.1
A-
API to .NET.
API to what are the things to consider? So what you need to consider is I think that there are no much changes when you compare to, as I said, .NET Core 3.1 to .NET 5. In fact, I am thinking like the migration will happen within half a day, I guess, because all the authentication authorization part is the same as in .NET Core 3.1. There won't be much migrating challenges when migrate .NET Core to .NET 5. Where the challenge will occur is when you're going to migrate a .NET framework application to .NET 5. So that's where the real challenge happens. This you can do it very easily. There won't be much challenge.
Until unless there is a breaking change in the libraries which you are using. Correct me,
Yeah, yeah,
Suhas, if I'm wrong. Yeah, if
yeah. Yes.
they are yeah, if they are asking for additional parameters or remove the existing parameters, only if
Yeah,
those kind of breaking changes, if you have, you have to sweat a little bit. If
yeah,
not, it will be like a cakewalk.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And also
Mm.
talking about the libraries. So I forgot to mention that point. Actually, in C Sharp 9, they improved the system.text.json library. It is very much powerful than Newtonsoft .json. Like they are, in previous version of C Sharp, the library was very much, there are very less number of people using that. There are a lot of bugs in that library, but they have improved it in C Sharp 9. So maybe you can also try out system.text.json library. I think it will be a cool replacement for Newtonsoft.json.
Right. Perfect. So I think that's only I really like Prem. There's some
Okay.
people who post a lot of questions, and I see question from every session. One question in every session from Prem. Thanks so much, Prem, for being one
Yeah.
person. Even that energizes us, like to answer this. And as Suas told, if we don't know something, it is us to get back to school and learn something and come back. It's really
Yeah.
appreciated. Yeah, back to you, Swas. Back to you, Swas. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so thanks everyone, thanks for attending this talk. As I said, thanks for your interest, and thanks for your supporting us for our community. Like as I said, support all the communities, and like it's your support. Like we are doing this events, on the Saturday we are spending some time. So keep supporting us, guys. So we'll come up with a cool number of topics. And thanks Swami for the opportunity.
Oh, actually, I really need to appreciate all the speakers
Mhm.
because these speakers are from different communities. If you see, so as you run your own communities, but now it's like a cross community collaboration, and you're coming and
Yeah.
talking, and it's very happy as
Yeah.
we're supporting each other, and people are also supporting us. It's good. Thank you so much, guys, and really appreciate it. And let me take one quick minute of your time. Let me share my screen. So we do have our next event, which is on next two events, which is on Feb 20. That's on Web API, Blazor, WASM, Azure, and Angular. At Dominic, Renuka, and Swami, we are speaking. And there's one event on March 6th where Magnus, Mohit, Stephen, and Vignaraj, these four people are speaking. So please uh, register and join us. And thanks. You have a good weekend. See you again. Thanks, was.
Yeah, thanks for me.
Bye.